Welcome in to SportsSource.tv and this overtime segment. Appreciate you checking us out today. Joined by, let's start from down there and work our way this way one time. We got Mark Pankratz, former Vol aide to Cuonzo Martin. Bruce Pearl played for Bruce Pearl at Milwaukee. We have Isaiah Victor, former Vol, who went to, you were there four NCAA tournament trips?
Oh, yeah.
All the Jerry Green years, recruited by Kevin O'Neill, made it through the Jerry Green years. We got Sterling Hinton right here, former Vol quarterback. And right there we have Houston Fancher, who was served on the staff at Tennessee and also was a head coach at Appy State. You were a head coach for a couple of years at Division II, were you not?
In junior college, yeah. I was a junior at North Greenville College, yeah.
Okay, all right. Every coach who's ever taken over UT's men's basketball program has said, oh, football and the Lady Vols, that's a plus for us. That's a plus. That's all. We're not worried about that being taking the spotlight off us. We're not worried about being the third pony in the race. It's great. Okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. When football is up, and it looks like football is going up, and when basketball is flatlined, and it appears to be flatlined right now, I think football can be a hindrance to basketball. I disagree with it helps. Because for years, we saw that for a long time. We remember the black curtains going up in Thompson Bowling Arena. My question is, if this program continues to just kind of sit in neutral with Donnie Tyndall, which it's not his fault, well, you could argue it is his fault, but the NCAA investigating him at Southern Miss, until that comes to some sort of resolution, you're just sitting there in neutral. Tennessee football's on the rise. Any danger of Tennessee basketball taking a big step back in terms of fan interest moving forward? Because I think it took a step backwards in fan interest this year. I'm worried if we do another year like this.
Well, to me, I think the core fan felt good about this season. I really do, just because of how hard these kids worked and the way they competed. They got more out of less than anybody else in this league, in my opinion. Now, a lot remains to be said about how this goes forward. You know, how are we going to recruit? Everybody wants to be associated with a winner, and that goes without saying. And I think if we win, people will be there. If we don't, they won't. And that's, once again, that's going to take time, because we don't know how this thing's going to turn out with the NCAA.
Well, my deal, if you just saw Mississippi State just fired their basketball coach, and I think a lot of it has to do with what you just talked about, is you've seen their football program all of a sudden have a lot of success, and so now that's put undue pressure on the basketball coach, because now the athletic director thinks, well, I want to win in all places, so I'm just going to go get a new coach because I don't think this guy's very good. So it can have a negative impact, but I think like Houston said, it's great if you're winning. If you're a winning basketball program, a great fan base, a great football fan base, it's going to help basketball. Same thing if you're losing, they're just not going to show up. So the bottom line is you just got to win. Or as Sterl says, just win, baby. That's what it's all about.
But you saw, the attendance dropped from Pearl to Martin just a little bit. Drop from Martin to Tyndall a little bit. What happens next year if you're going through another year? Let's say they're 16-16 next year, whereas the football team 8-4, 9-3. Let's say they pull a rabbit out of the hat, go 9-3, have a great year, go to a nice bowl game. Sterling's getting excited. 12-0. Concerns, Sterling, that football dwarfs basketball. We know people out there saying football's always king. Yes. But when Pearl was here, and even under Cuonzo Martin, you still had interest in the program. I think that interest dwindled some this year. I think attendance showed it. I think ratings showed it. But it could dwindle further, I'm afraid. Am I wrong on that? These guys seem to think I'm wrong on that.
I think we're a football school. So there are more demands and more pressure on football. Mm-hmm. When we excel at what our heart is at, which is football, it dwarfs a lot of things. I had the pleasure of watching Isaiah and that team that he had play, and it was guys that are NBA, and I think he should have been one of them also. But it's like our fans gravitate toward winning. Yeah. When we win,
like all fans,
hey, and that's it. But the history for football, I guess, you got the history there with football, but you got to create a new one with basketball. And I think when that happens, Pearl had a lot of excitement going on. A lot going on.
Plus, football was down during
that's
that.
Football was down. And football was down. Now, we got to get back up into basketball and try to create a new type of history with basketball.
Isaiah, you live in Kentucky. You've seen it in reverse.
Yeah, right.
Every new football coach they hire says, oh no, Kentucky basketball is a great thing for us. It helps us recruit, yada, yada, yada. And then they shuffle off and they bring the next guy in to lose. Fans, David Ligon was telling us a story earlier. His brother played on that Kentucky team that beat Tennessee. And David was on the field. And he heard the fans, they're celebrating the first time they've beaten Tennessee in 20 whatever years it was. And within 10 minutes, they're saying, all right, let's go to the Kentucky basketball game tonight. They had an exhibition game. So their mind was already off. Well, that was a big win. Now to the exhibition game. So it's in reverse there. Do you think Tennessee basketball is in any danger of going the way of Kentucky football if the program doesn't quickly get the gears going again? Is it possible that Tennessee basketball just becomes not just in the back seat, but like the back seat?
I think there is, because I've seen it before. When I first got here, I was, I redshirted under Kevin O'Neal, and that was his last season. And it was 96, 97. It was we're a football school always, as Sterl said, and we weren't playing very good basketball. We weren't winning, and
We're
then
scoring.
on top of that, it wasn't a very exciting game to watch. You don't have to win every game. You just got to compete every game and give the fans a show that they want to watch. So if we don't get a few players in, it could definitely happen. But the way that it helps is that in 98, 99, late 90s, we knew, hey, the football team, they winning championships. Lady Vols, they're winning championships. We got to step up to the plate. So that made us even more competitive, and it was a friendly competition. We went to every football game. The football players came to every basketball game. So, it could be a positive thing, and hopefully it is.
Somewhere Nike's saying, yes, it was one Tennessee.
Yeah,
Their new brand.
And this has got to be a question that administrations at all SEC schools are how do we make it to where, because if you watch Missouri basketball this year, you watch even at times Georgia early in the year, there was maybe a couple thousand people in their stadiums, and so it's a football footprint what SEC is, and it boils down to you just got to win.
And the other thing to that is, even though the paid attendance has done this after the last two, step down a little bit, paid attendance is still top 10 in the nation.
Right.
So it's not like it's going to fall off the map, but in terms of people in town talking about it, Bruce Pearl created a buzz that hadn't been there in a long time. And because people didn't like Jerry Green, it really wasn't that big of a buzz under him like you had with Pearl coming here. So I just wonder if you don't want to go all the way back to the O'Neal type thing or the Buzz Peterson type thing where people are just kind of, I'll go maybe. So I wonder at what point do you get there? The best thing for Tennessee is if the NCAA finally sends a letter of allegations to Southern Miss and it clears Donnie Tyndall of wrongdoing, and everybody picks up and moves on, and all this is history. Guys, I appreciate it. We are history. We'll see you next Sunday on WATE 6 at 11 a.m. for the Sports Source. Thank you very much. Have a good week.